What's up, everybody? This is Phony, and welcome to how to make a WoW PvP intro. This is the basics, basically. We're just going to be throwing together something really quick so you can see how it works or how to achieve simple effects, and then you basically take what I'm going to show you and you could grow into something completely different or whatever, or you could just do exactly what I do and all the PvP videos will look the same from now on. Fantastic, whatever. I'm making this video because I want to see more effort put into videos that are on warcraftmovies.com. If you watch a PvP video, I see the same thing. Okay, here's a guy is sitting waiting for the WSG gates to open up, and he's showing his gear and the character screen and all that stuff, and he's sitting there for like 2 minutes and there's text on the screen, it's big and blocky, and it looks like complete ass. You know, we don't want that. We want everything to look nice and smooth. We want the video to come on and make it look nice, and the music to work, and for everything to work great. So, without further ado, this is how you make a PvP intro. Basically, we're going to start with a blank canvas. This is our blank canvas here. And it's really important for you to set your intro video to be the same resolution as the rest of your Fraps video. Otherwise, your intro video will, like let's say for example, if you set your intro video to 720 by 480, which is the default here for Sony Vegas, then you will, and then your Fraps is 1024 by 768 or something like that. It will just look messed up, you know, kind of weird, because you're gonna go from that 720 by 480 to that very large and high resolution 1024 by 768. So that being said, make sure that you set this the same size as your Fraps. I will show you how to do that now, actually. Okay, so you see here is this window open that that I set up for the intro tutorial, and here's some bits and pieces, more like notes. For example, notice how on the right here, when you sort it by detail, then you can see on the far right here what the dimensions is for videos. If you don't see this area over here, you want to right click on your Fraps video. For example, this is a Fraps video that I took just for show, pretty much. You know, you can see it's, you know, just a little bit whatever, not show, but just for sample. You can right click on it, you can go to properties, and in the summary it'll tell you right there 840 by 524. Now with Fraps, if you have a single core processor, it will record anything that's over, I think, 1280 by 1024. It'll record at half resolution. So my resolution is 1680 by 1050. Half of that would be 840 by 520, well, 525 technically, but you know, just for ratio purposes, 524. If you have a dual core processor, it will record at whatever resolution that you are running, up to 20 something by something something. So in this case, all my Fraps are at 840 by 524 because my processor sucks, but my Frap video will come out pretty nice anyway. 840 by 524. Now keep in mind, your standard definition TV is 512 by 384. Your coax coming into your house, you watch, you know, CSI on. High def sits around 480 to 720, you know, somewhere around there. And then of course high def is 1080 by whatever. So this is closer to, I guess you could say, the 720 definition. So the videos still come out looking pretty good. So 840 by 524. So we're gonna go over here into Sony Vegas, and this is my new work area here, and it's at 720 by 480. I am gonna go to properties, and then here I already have it set up for me. It's 840 by 524. Your frame rate's got to be at 30 frames per second. Very important. Your field order, this is just for your progressive scan, which is what you want to render at, but for editing purposes, lower field first, because it plays back smoother when you're trying to render, or when you're trying to work with the video. When you render, then you change it to progressive. Just remember that. Your pixel aspect ratio has got to be at 1. The default for Sony Vegas is right here, NTSC DV. So that's because it's designed for editing actual shot video on a digital video camera, not necessarily WoW videos, contrary to popular belief. So right here, this is very important. Remember this. This is the settings that you want to use. Type in, you know, whatever my Fraps settings, LOL, and then click save, and it will save. a template for you. So every time you open up a new template, you're gonna do WoW videos, and you could just drop down to whatever my Fraps settings LOL, click on it, and it will load everything for you. So then you click apply, and you'll see right here my resolution changed. It actually made it a widescreen here. So let me go and bring it up. So that's a wide screen. So now when I go over here and I grab the sample for size clip and I throw it in here, it fills up the entire screen. See, very nicely it fills up the entire screen. Now look what happens if we actually did not do this, and this is very common, especially if you're running a widescreen. If you have it set for the standard, which is this right here, this is what your video will look like. You'll have the letterbox on the top and the bottom, and it's also resizing it. It's shrinking it down a little bit so that it'll fit in this horizontally. This is bad because it is taking it and it is dividing it by an odd number to get to this horizontal resolution, and it's gonna make some of your text come out blurry. It's gonna make things come out kind of weird looking, you know. So if you just put it on your My Fraps settings LOL, bam, right there, done. Full screen, it looks fantastic, you're good to go. Okay, to start off the intro, you want to have probably like a background or something that looks kind of snazzy, something kind of grab 'em, you know. There are a lot of places you can go in the game and get some footage that you wouldn't normally be able to take, or someone maybe didn't think of, or you can do something as simple as jumping on the tram in Ironforge and face the wall and just fraps it as it's going by, and then put like a blur effect on, a motion effect on it, so it looks more like just a texture, a moving texture, and not necessarily like you were staring at the wall while riding the tram in IF, you know, in first-person point of view. So, for example, I'm going to show you something and also kind of reveal how I achieved this effect in my intro to my second movie. Let's see, this is a clip. When you go to Ashenvale, or actually in any water, if you jump in the water, I don't know if it's just me, maybe this is my computer, but if you move the camera back just a little bit, you see where my head's at right there? If you move it back right about here, that distance, and then move it until it hits the water, then you will achieve this kind of effect where above the water you can see particles that would normally only be seen underwater, and the underwater effect will be applied over water. So as you can see, that's what this is. You see the particles flying and everything. On my intro to my second video, I used this as kind of like a semi-part of the intro to lead into the song while the music was playing, or lead into the rest of it while the music was playing. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this and we'll keep this as our background, and maybe we'll go ahead and maybe wash it out a little bit. So we'll just go ahead and so it's not, because you don't want it to stand out necessarily a lot. So we'll just throw maybe just a blur, a basic blur, radial blur, because it has a zoom effect on it. And you click on here and you see how it shows. You can increase the strength, you know, so you can kind of make it what you want. So right about like here. Let's go ahead and add some, maybe a different tone to it. So we're gonna go to see, there's a gradient effect, a gradient map. You click on this, and basically what gradient map does, gradient map, try adding it. What gradient map does is you could go through and you could lay over your own color palette on top of the video that you're playing. So in this instance, we want it to be kind of soft, so we'll use overexposed, and we could grab the numbers here and move it down. You see in the video how it's kind of adjusting certain areas. So we want it to be kind of washed out. So we'll go ahead and just kind of maybe make this a little bit more apparent, so it's a little blue, and we'll make this black. Increase the black a little bit, and then pump it up a little bit so that kind of darkens everything up a little. So there is that. So here's going to be our background. It's just a simple video of the water and everything flying by. So that's that. Now we want to add an overlay on this. So we're going to go ahead and just right click over here on the one, or on your first track, or in any area, and just go to insert video track, and it'll insert one on top of the other. And we want to insert a few because we're going to be working with multiple layers here. So here we go right here. I got 3 video layers and my my initial background layer. Now before you fraps anything, you want to open this up and you want to go to view to background color, and the window that's going to pop up will allow you to change the background color to whatever color you want. in the palette. You want to change it. You want to go down to the bottom where there's text. There's text fields, and it says R, G, and B for red, green, and blue. You want to change red and green to 0 and change blue to 255. What that is makes blue the it's the highest blue you could get, and with red and green being at 0, it's the absolute neutral on those, and so that way you have a pure blue background. I would show you how to do it, but this is the beta version or the alpha version of WoW Model Viewer, and as you can see, I click on stuff and it froze when I try to do this. So remember to do that, and you'll find out later why you want to do this, but just don't forget to do this before you fraps anything. Now to continue with this, you want to go ahead and load your character. In my case, I already have my character saved, so I just go doo-doo-doo. So we want to record the fraps. We want to fraps this. As you can see, fraps is running and it recognizes this. We want to fraps this so that it's either right at or just above the resolution that you are recording your fraps at. So we go down here. In future versions and in the old version, there used to be a way you could choose your custom canvas size, in which case you would set the canvas size to match your frap size. So I already showed you how to check that, and that's what you want to do. That way it's a perfect fit. In my case, I got to go just a little bit over, and this is where I'll be recording at. So you want to get them in a good position, your character here. Something like maybe this, because you want room, because over here is where you're going to show off all of your gear and all your fat epics and all that stuff. You want to pick a nice cool stance because just standing there looks kind of ridiculous. So in this case, I'm going to choose stealth stand. You know, kind of a nice little, you know, I'm a gangster pose. So tilt it down so that, you know, his hat's covering his eyes, so he looks all, you know, whatever. And get him just the right zoom and everything. So you wanted to kind of fill the screen a little bit, but without touching the borders, because we want to have room to move in case I want to move him around. So right about there is good. Now, we want to fraps this. It's just simple. Just all you do is just record it, get a nice little loop going. So you're about there is fine. Then, I'll show you how to do the wireframe thing. You want to go to View, Show Model Control. This window pops up. This is where you can do all the crazy wireframe stuff. When you turn all this stuff off, he turns white. When you turn off render, guess what? The Invisible Man thing happens. So we want to do just the basic wireframe, so we'll go ahead and stick it right here like this. Now notice I did not move him. If you move him, then you're going to have to redo both with all the textures and then redo the wireframe effect. So we're going to go ahead and record another loop here. Just a couple loops of him just standing there. And then, bam. So now we want to go and grab that video you just shot. Alright, so now we have the two clips on the timeline. We have the wireframe and the full frame. So notice I muted, or yeah, you can say muted the background here because it's just basically eating up processor that I could be using for more accurately moving him around. So I just muted him out of the way, and then I have a much smoother video that I could work with here. Besides, it's just the background, which will soon probably be the intro or something. I don't know, I'm kind of doing all this on the fly, just to give you guys a basic idea on how to do this stuff, and you can take it and use your imagination and make what you want of it. So, we're going to find a good, by clicking here at the beginning, you can click and drag and move the beginning of the video around. Now, the video that you see over here reflects what the actual frame is that your cursor is on as you move this thing back and forth, as you can see. See if I move it, So we want to find a good loop spot. So right about there where his hat dips down at the very bottom at the apex there, we'll stop it there. That's going to be our starting point. Now we want to find that same spot at the end. Right about there or so. So let's double click on it, click on the loop button, press play, see if it loops. Look at that, perfect loop. Now we want to do the same thing for the wireframe. So we go to the wireframe here, and we find that same dip where the weapons are pulled back and the hat is dipped down, which is right there. We found that. Now we find the end. But in this case, it's easy. You just click over here, move this thing to the frame right below it, or to the line right below it, and then Just move the cursor so it lines up with that, and that should be it. We'll see. Loop it, and again you have a perfect loop. So now that you have these things synced up, where when you push play and you mute and unmute, they sync up perfectly together, we gotta do something about the blue screen. So we're gonna go, you click on the effect thing here, or if you're gonna use this entire timeline for just blue screen video, you could click here. Both of them are the same screen. This is where you pick effects, and over here, the same button, you got effects. In this case, we're gonna go ahead and just do on the track itself, on the individual clip itself. We're gonna go to Chroma Keyer. We add that, pull it up. Now remember, I told you guys to shoot this thing in the purest blue, because if you don't shoot it in the purest blue, then this is going to be a pain to figure out. So we just basically go through and we pick 0, 0, 255, just as mentioned before. So we'll go ahead and mute out the bottom here. And as you can see, against a black background, he blends in, and you don't see any blue border around him. You see right here, there's the background moving, and there's him on top of it. Basically, you repeat the same process for the video below at the wireframe one. Chroma Keyer, deepest blue, basically. There you go. And there you have it. So now, got them both looping, and just switched from wireframe to full frame, and there's no blue background to get in the way. So anything you put behind this, in this case is the water scene, will show up and it'll look clean. So now there's many ways that you could go and you could blend these two together. First of all, you don't want to grab it by the corners and stretch it out at all, because then you're going to screw up the loop. If you want to continue the loop, let's say if you want the wireframe to come in first, just move this out of the way, and you basically hold down Control and click and drag the clip. It'll automatically lock at the end and link itself to the next video right there. And then you do it again, it makes a copy of itself. So now when you play it, you have a perfect loop back and forth. Let's see. So as long as you line up the beginning, because since these are the exact same length, as long as you line up the beginning and the end, you won't have any problems with its switching back and forth. So now let's take a look at this, because now we have the video going from wireframe to full frame to wireframe again. We want to make the full frame come in and look maybe make it smoother the way it comes into the view. So we want to grab the upper left corner of the first frame and make it, and just click and drag, it creates a fade. So I'll go ahead and slow the video down so it's a little easier to pick out. But here's him moving, and then when this clip starts to fade in, it just fades him in. I'll do it again. See how it slowly fades the skin over and into the picture. So here's what we want to do. Now when you do this, you could go ahead and grab it here and move it back, and right where this comes full frame, you could just have this fade out so that it looks much smoother in the end. So it looks like this. Now that's extremely slow. You can see there's a flaw in there where the blades kind of overlap each other, and you can see there's like two blades there. But when you're watching the thing at full speed, it's going to be so fast you're not really going to notice. Now there's different ways that you could bring it in. You have all of your effects over here. If you look down here, there's transitions, media manager, project manager, blah blah blah, all this stuff. We'll go to transitions, and we want to find maybe a dissolve. We'll go to, oh no, maybe not even that, maybe a flash. No, we're going to go to a cross effect. No, we're not. Now in dissolve, we want to find something that maybe moves through a couple colors, red, then green, then blue, crossfade. You basically click on the effect, drag it to where you have the fade in. It's going to come up with some options, blah blah blah, just let it go, and then it will fade him in a dissolve fashion. So I'll slow it down so you can see exactly what's taking place here. See there, and then you see how it just kind of moves him in, creates kind of an effect, and then the colorization takes place at the very end. So in full frame, it just looks kind of like a flash. There you go, just like that. And then a flash, and then there he is. Now there's other ways that you could do this. You could mess around with other effects to get it to fade, you know, like it made the whole screen blinks or something, you know. So I'll play it slow motion so you can see. However you want to do it, however it feels good to you, you can do it like that. Threshold appears to create kind of a unique effect if the overlays are correct. And then you see it kind of just draws itself over top of the previous character. I'll do it again really slow so you can see. It's kind of melds itself over top. So we'll keep that one. That one's kind of cool. Now, then after that we have him just looping over and over again. Okay, so now we want to add maybe some gear. You know, just kind of show off what gear you have. Everyone does it. Now, a big no-no to me anyway, and it's a very big turn-off when I watch a WoW video, PvP video, is people that use the character screen to demo off what gear they have. Now, I understand the demo screen is definitely the way to go, or the character screen is definitely the way to go if you want to prove that you have all this stuff. Then again, if you're actually playing the game and showing in-game footage, they're going to see that you have the gear, you know. So when you have that special trinket that you want to show off that you have, or anything like that, you know, you could see most of it. And if you have that special trinket, why bother showing it off if you're not going to actually have it in the video? So just show it in a more visually appealing way, which in this case is going to be during this sequence here. And it'll just look better. So, and then you have some music playing in the background, and it's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna go with Thoughtbot, and we're gonna look up something. We're gonna say, let's see. We're gonna pretend that this guy has a Dark Edge of Insanity. So we want to go ahead and here's the area we're going to use. Now if you want, you could blow it up a little bit so that's a little easier to read, or you can shrink it down, whatever. Now there's a bunch of websites that show items like this in this fashion, and you could go and use any one you want. Alakazam, you go there and they have nice little squares and everything you could use. In this case I'm just going to use Thoughtbot just because it's for demo purposes. So basically just hold down, hit print screen, and then you're going to be able to go into a program like Paint or Photoshop. If you have Photoshop, then you'll know what I'm going to do. So you open up Paint, and you want to go ahead and just select the area that you want to include. Maybe a little bit of white for like a border or something. And then right there, it's good. We're going to cut that out. File new. No, don't change. There you go. So this is going to be our Dark Edge of Insanity. So we're going to save this. We'll save it to the desktop for now. And we'll just call it Insanity. So we'll close this out. And we're going to go to our desktop, grab the file, and just drag and drop it. So here it is. So now we have it here. We want to take it and we want to move it to a more visually appealing spot, because sitting right here in the middle taking up space is kind of irritating. So this track we're going to go ahead and just dedicate to gear. So we click on the track motion settings to pop up a window, and in this window you could grab the corners here and you can move things around and resize them and all that jazz. So we want to keep it default. We want to keep it from skewing all over the place, so we keep lock aspect ratio here checked, and then we could take it and grab the corner here and we could resize it and move it around. So we want to put it like right here. That looks good. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. There you go. Now keep in mind, if you're gonna make a PvP video, chances are you're gonna upload a Google Video quality. So you got to make it so they can read on Google Video. So let's just say this is a good size. I'm pretty sure you can read this on Google Video, whatever. So now we want to bring it in. So we got the wireframe, then it dissolves into the full frame, and then we want to bring it in like all slick like. So right here, it just kind of fades in. That's kind of like whatever. You could do it that way, or you could go here and grab like maybe a push or slide or something. See, we'll grab a slide in from the left to the right, drag it over the little fader we created there, and then it'll have it slide in from the left. Now that's one way you could do it. You could have it also dissolve in. You know, that might have an interesting effect on whatever background that you use. You know, it just kind of blends in like that. And on a background like we have here, you know, it might actually have some interesting effects. We'll slow it down so you can see. So it just kind of blends in, and then bam, Dark Edge of Insanity on a level 19. So, and we want to go ahead and have it fade out in some way, additive dissolve, so that it just kind of fades away. So there you have, we'll take care of the background there. Now you have this, fades that, and then it shows Dark Edge of Insanity, and then it fades out. And you want to keep it up there for at least some amount of time so people can read it, obviously. So I just quick dissolve in, and then it fades out. So let's pretend that these is two different gear, you know. So you have Dark Edge of Insanity, then it fades out, and then you have the next gear, whatever this is, and then it fades out. You can overlap them so they kind of blend into each other, dissolve into each other. You know, in this case, you're not going to see anything because they're like almost the exact same thing. It kind of just turns purple, then comes back, and then there you go. So by using that, you know, screenshotting Thoughtbot or Alakazam or any other place that shows the gear tooltips, don't use the in-game ones because they're low quality. On the websites, you can make them bigger by increasing your font size and get better quality versions there. Then it'll put it in Paint or Photoshop, cut it out, then throw it into, save it as a file, put it on a timeline, dedicate a timeline to it because you're going to be using it because you got to move it so it's not right in the middle. And then all you do is just keep throwing your different the different gear you have on this timeline and fade it in and out of each other, and then boom, there you go. You'll have your gear section of your PvP video. So now we have the character fading into the cool full frame from the wireframe, and then the gear and everything coming up and off the screen. And we also have the background, which is running this entire time. We'll kind of move everything over a little bit. There you go. And we'll fade in the intro part of it. And there's that, and then it will blend to that, and then there you go. And that is your basic character gear screen setup, intro, whatever. Now, music. We're going to talk about music for a second. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me. Everybody is sick of hearing Disturbed, Linkin Park, pretty much anything that's like super mega popular, anything emo we're kind of tired of. You know, you want to pick something that, whether it be metal, jazz, hip-hop, electronic, ambient, drum and bass, whatever. You want to pick something that fits the video that you're using. In this case, I've already used this clip before. I know exactly which song I would put here. We'll go ahead and we'll grab that particular song. So to iTunes, and we'll look up Pendulum. And that particular song was called Hold Your Color. So we'll take that and we'll drag it in, drop it off. And we're going to move this entire track so that's below the thing there. So now you have music to go along with. Soaking through guns that held us up against the wall. Soaking through And there you go. Now you have music, you have your wireframe to full, and you have your gear and all that good stuff. And this could be your intro. Like I said, this is a very rudimentary, thrown together one, but I'm obviously not going to use this for anything, just here for demonstration purposes, but hopefully you get it. Just remember, music is the key to your PvP videos. I cannot stress this enough. Don't be afraid to go out on a limb and pick something that maybe nobody's thought of or nobody would want to do because they're just afraid to go out that far and grab it. For example, I used a Jill Scott song. It was a very jazzy type song for my Warrior section of my last video, the Greatest Twink Video Ever 2. Jill Scott, and then I followed up with some Aphex Twin, a very ambient Aphex Twin. Don't be afraid to go out on a limb, because you'll be surprised how much people would enjoy watching something like that and listening to that, rather than hearing, Disturbed, Linkin Park, System of a Down, any of those, mega heavy, mega popular bands that everybody's heard the song, everybody's used it in a PvP video numerous times, screaming in their ears. Nobody wants to hear that over and over and over again. Now, if you've seen the song used somewhere else and you feel like you could use it better, so be it. Do it. Just do what feels right to you. But just remember, try to stay away from the very popular songs, because that's a big turn off. So now let's talk about rendering. So I have my intro, basically moves all the way to here, and I want to go ahead and render this. So I'll go File to Render As, and then you have a number of options you could choose from. Now, you can go the DivX route if you go to warcraftmovies.com and then go to the forums and then the movie making guide. There is a very good guide there that shows how to render video using DivX and a combination of other programs. If you want to go that route, you can. If you want a simple, easy way to kind of just go in there, render it, throw it up, it'll still look decent, then this is the way you do it. This is the way that I do it, mainly because I don't feel like going through all the steps to render it all in DivX and everything, and this tends to work. All my videos are rendered using this method. So you pick Windows Media version 9, because it's the most commonly used format, and it'll play at just about everything. Even Macs could play WMV. And then for the template, we're gonna go and we're gonna pick 3 megabit per second video. Click Custom. You want it to be the best video rendering quality. Audio, keep that at about 128 or so. Video. This is very important. This whole section right here. We're at 1 square. This matches 30 frames per second. It's good. Make sure that's that. And then your video smoothness could sit anywhere around there. Now, the video resolution needs to be fixed, because 640 by 480 just does not cut it, because it's going to take it and it's going to letterbox it. You're going to have black on the top and bottom. It's going to distort all your text, and it's going to look like complete ass. So you want to go to Custom, and here is where you're going to put 840 by 524, and this is our project properties. And then your bitrate, make this 2 or 2.5 depending on the length of your movie. If your movie is really short, make it 3. That way you have more quality. Your video will be large for how long it is, but at least it'll look good. 2.5 is a happy medium. Go to index summary, and here you go ahead and you can set up index file, and you can just basically you put phony sample author me, engineer me, can't type, and then copyright 2006, description, sample video for warcraftmovies.com, rating 5 out of 5, year 2006. And what this does is it'll actually put, when you play the video on the bottom of Windows Media Player, it'll actually play this text. It'll say title, author, etc., etc., etc. So if you want to plug something here, like maybe your favorite band page or something like that, and it'll link it there. Or if you want to hook up battlegroundforums.com, you could do that. By the way, Battleground Forums is the best forums website out there right now. Warcraft movies is good, but if you want something that's geared more towards Battlegrounds, this is the way to go right here. Battlegroundforums.com. Don't forget that. So then you're gonna click, go make sure all your stuff is good. Bam, bam, bam. Now when you render this, the video is gonna look fantastic. Maybe not superb like the DivX videos will do for you, but this is just a simple way for you to get it to look good. Now, if you're gonna be doing a lot of videos, you want to save a template. So we're gonna save this as the test templates LOL, and we save, and basically here we can put template used for making WoW videos. Bam. Click save, then click OK, and there you go. And when you go and you say you have all your different settings here, when you select test template LOL, it'll tell you exactly what it is, and then all you gotta do is just type in the name and click save, and it will render it for you.